Hey, Norcal Karters, this is Jason. Oh, there's everybody. Give us a second. There we go. So you just got a quick glimpse of our panel, but yeah, it's December 5th, 2022. We took a couple of weeks off because of the big Vegas races. We had Thanksgiving going on, and honestly, it's just kind of hard to book shows when, again, the two biggest sprint karting races going on back to back, and then Thanksgiving. So we had some family time, but we're back. December 5th, 2022. And tonight's show is the NCK Road Racing Group, brought to you by Aluminos. So again, NCK Road Racing. We'll have Ollie and Mark pop up here in a moment, but it's brought to you by Aluminos. And housekeeping for me right now is really simple. We're wrapping up the season. So if you're a club or you're on a board, get your schedules to us as soon as possible. So Mark Morrison will go over the NCK schedule tonight. It just got released today. And so there's been some updates to it. So that's good. Rock Sonoma released their schedule. Challenge Karting, Andy Seisman and Challenge of Americas, they released their schedule. Also, we are working on a SWAT meet in February. So if you're a local track that wants to host a SWAT meet, it's going to be in February, except for on the weekend of 11th or 12th. I think February 11th or 12th. That weekend is off, not because of Valentine's Day, but because of the Super Bowl. So again, February, it's a great way to network, to have new people come out. It's a good way to answer a lot of questions for people and also clean out your garage or add new stuff to the garage. So schedules, get them to us. If you're interested in supporting the show, reach out to myself or Ashley. Next year for 2023, that sounds so weird to say, we're going to have limited spots. We're only going to have about 20 live stream shows available for 2023. So jump on board. And with that being said, take it away, Ashley.
Hey, NorCal. All right. So yes, like Jason said, we had some of our big races in Vegas going on in November. So we had Supernats, Rock Vegas. A lot of our NorCal drivers were there. We were trying to get everybody scheduled, and with how everything's planned in Vegas, there were people traveling on different days and this and that. So if you are on and you would like to share about Vegas, go ahead and put it in the comments. I know I was going to give a shout out to. I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head what class he's in, but he did really well at Supernats. And then another shout out I wanted to give is our molecule code. Jason, maybe you can bring that up. But NorCal 15 is our discount code for molecule. So if you are Christmas shopping, get your molecule with your NorCal 15 code. And again, yes, we will be having limited shows next year. We are going to be working on a project that will require filming. So I really am starting to book for next year already. So if I've reached out to you, let me know. We want to try and get everybody on, and we also kind of want to do a lot of the similar shows that we did this year too. So all right, Jason, go ahead.
All right, and we're gonna have our first guest to introduce himself. Let's go with Ollie. Ollie, thank you for joining us tonight or this morning.
Oh, he's muted, Jason.
Yeah, I'm Ollie Cooper Welton, and I'm actually in the UK right now. So it's probably one of your furthest feeds, isn't it? I would have thought.
You probably have the long distance award for the evening.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, give us a quick background on your racing, as far as you're joining us tonight for the NCK show. So, with
Yeah,
NCK, what class do you race in?
I'm a CR250 supercar class, which is our supercar ice in NCK.
Perfect. All right, thanks for the introduction. And again, you'll be back here in about 30 seconds, anyhow. And last but not least, Mr. Mark Morrison. There you are.
Here I am. How's everybody doing tonight? So for those that don't know me, I'm the president of NCK. I have been for several years. And I also run a Super Kart 250 and a tag kart now. So my old age, I'm starting to slow down.
So, super kart and a tag kart.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so you released the schedule this week for 2023. You want to get into that now?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into it now.
Okay, give me one moment here. Boom. All right. So I see a little smile on Ashley's face. I don't know if that's good or bad, but so 2023 race schedule for NCK. So let's go down the list here, Mark. We have April 1st and 2nd. That's going to be at Thunderhill East.
Yes, that'll be a 2-day event shared with the Shelby Club like we have in the past. So everybody seems to like that 2-day format with that group. There's quite a bit of racing involved. We've been doing it with them now in the October dates. We've done it the last 3 years. So they picked up the April date and invited us to come back. So, and then with the 2 days, it allows a lot of people from the Northwest to come down and play, to help the travel time, because most people won't come for one day race. So the 2 Thunder Hill races will be 2-dayers. Then the next date is April
26th.
April 26th at Chuckwalla. So for those that never heard of a Chuckwalla, it is in Southern California heading on highway Interstate 10 East in Desert City. It's a 2.6 mile road course with 17 turns. It's pavement, desert, and some buildings, but it is a fun track from all the video I've seen of it and things like that. And then this race will actually be hosted by the Southwest Karters, which are out of Arizona, and they piggyback with a car group, and that particular car group happened to luck out and get a date at Chuckwalla. So they've invited the karts to come up. So this will be a first time that karts have ever been on this track. So for all you Southern California people, this is a good opportunity to go play it at a new facility that nobody's been on for a while. So we'll have more news to pass along on this here in the next few weeks as I get it from the Southwest Karters.
All right, and give me one more second here. Let's see. There's the layout.
Ooh.
Yes, it's got their what they call their bowl, and it's I guess a fairly fast track from the people that I've talked to. Or they say in the cars it's fast, but we'll have to go see it. It looks really interesting. It looks fun. It does have elevation changes to it. So
it's at the end of an
we
airport.
Decided not to.
Or is that
It has a
drag strip?
landing strip.
Yeah, it's an
It has a
airfield, isn't
landing
it?
strip that you can fly in and land at it. It has cottages that you can rent. And of course, if you ever been on I-10 from LA to nowhere, there's nothing out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can zoom out and it's brown or desert.
But yeah, but they have a concession stand, and
It does look fast.
yeah.
It does look
So
fast.
I decided not to make it a points race because two races in the same month a lot of times doesn't work. But being as this is new, I had to put it on the calendar just to encourage karters to go to it.
What if you make
So we're kind of
a optional points where the two races that are close to each other, they can pick which race
well,
they want points for?
it's because it's an Southwest Karter date.
Okay.
I don't have their schedule, so normally they run with I think it's Pro Auto Sports Group.
Okay.
Is usually who they run with. So they do a mixed all shifters in one group, all clutch carts in another group, and there's usually only 4 outings for the day. So
are you racing this event with their series, and you're joining
we're
their series?
we're just going to join their series.
Okay.
So
cool.
I wanted to promote, being it's in the state of California, and we have a lot of our racers come from Las Vegas, Southern California, that type of thing. I figured I would help support the Arizona group because they come to a lot of our races by adding it to the calendar and promote it. It just won't be one of our points races. So it'll be a fun race for us. So hopefully we'll get a lot of new people to show up to it. And if it works out, then that gives us another facility to look at down the road for maybe 24 for another event. So that should be exciting. But once everything is in motion, it'll just everything will be linked through our website. So registration will be through Southwest Karters and that type of thing.
It's amazing how many hidden gems there are over there.
What was that, Ollie?
It's amazing how many hidden gems there are.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is it's not a private facility, but at one time it was kind of the, it's like Pahrump. There's houses around Pahrump, which is Spring Mountain. So it's the guy drives his Corvette out of his garage and goes plays on a racetrack. This was kind of what this was in its conception, I believe.
Okay. That was the idea of it.
It's a private road course that, I guess you got to know somebody to get on it. So,
well, that'll be exciting to have a new track to add to your mix there.
Yes. So, and this is Ben Hur's group out of Arizona. So wherever their car group goes, then they're usually invited to go along. So I've talked to Ben early this morning and said I would support him, and he says bring it on. So
perfect.
That's what we're going to do.
So that's going to be April 26th, the new track at Chuckwalla. Well, new to you. So new to NCK, Chuckwalla. And then you have July 1st, Willow Springs?
Yes, July 1st, Willow Springs on the streets again. When we ran this,
I think the streets is a great circuit.
It is.
Yeah.
So, and everybody loved it. So, and the big track, Big Willow is, it's so bumpy that, a cadet cart couldn't handle the holes. Cadet cart would fall in a hole and get lost.
So your 250 guys prefer Streets of Willows over Big Willow?
There's a lot more going on. I think with the 250 guys, it's about getting gear ratio correct. But for me, I see Streets as a good alternative to Thunderhill West. It's got that kart track feel about it? It's, you know, it's fast. There's some blind corners. It's, you know, it tests the driver's ability, and I think that's part of the excitement. I mean,
and then for me, running it counterclockwise in the tag kart was a blast, but in the super kart, I'd much rather run it clockwise.
Same here. Yeah, I preferred it clockwise because there are some blind corners. It's like down to driver ability to whether you keep your foot on the gas or you back off or not. But
You know, well, at speed, there's less blind turns at speed running it clockwise, but
it feels more natural clockwise in a supercar.
Yeah, but in the tag kart, I liked it the other way.
Right.
And so we'll see what happens. It'll be a toss of a coin which way we run that. But that will be July 1st.
And then real quick, we have a question coming in from Todd Baker. I think I know who that guy is. He's asking, is that a Thursday? So is one of these races on a Thursday?
No, none of them are on a Thursday.
Let's see here. Do I have a typo in my schedule then? Or
April,
Todd, maybe you can clarify.
April, what was the 26th?
April 26th is Chuckwalla?
April 30th.
So we have a typo.
Oh, yeah, April 30th. It's
April 30th.
Yeah. Now, it could also be why we brought that back up. If there's enough interest, it might be the 29th and the 30th.
Okay. So you'll have to resend your email out.
Yeah. What did I type in the 26th?
Yeah, I don't make mistakes.
It's all right. We could just have a 4-day race meeting.
All right.
So Todd, it's going to be a good question. I'm glad we have one listener out there. Well, we have two. We have RC and Go-Karts. He's a regular. Yeah. And then Todd, that's going to be changed to the 29th or the 30th?
Well, it's the 30th is the hard date. And if there's enough interest, they'll add the 29th.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So
if you want to go on the 26th, you can if you want.
Maxfield, where you been at? We just did a whole Google Earth.
So after the show, you have to rewind to 7.34, and you can see my whole zoom in and zoom out presentation. Let's see. It's in SoCal, Coachella, in the desert. Let's see. July 1st.
It's Chuckwalla.
Yeah, but I saw Coachella on the map.
Oh, it's actually listed as Desert Center.
Desert Center. And then let's see here. August 26th, Button Willow?
Yes.
Okay.
And that will be on the old track.
Okay.
I don't think they have the new one done yet. So, and if they do, there'll be more people requesting that than the old facility. Yeah. So
what's the new track? Is it are they resurfacing it, or there's a whole new circuit going?
There's a whole new circuit going in, but they've been delayed by several issues. So I'm not for sure if it's been cut in. They haven't laid pavement yet.
Let's see here. Then we have another question coming in from Corey Simpson. Corey's asking, Chuckwalla and Willow Springs are one-day events? ?
Chuckwalla and Willow Springs are one-day events as it stands right now. Willow Springs, the streets will be a one-day event. I will have a practice day scheduled probably 4 weeks before for the streets.
Okay.
But that'll come later on and after like February. But we will try to get a practice day for the streets about 4 weeks ahead of time.
All right. So thanks for listening, Corey. So Corey, superkart racer and team owner from the Midwest, and Chris Gassaway has been pushing me to get west. The West is the best.
It is, and I appreciate all the East Coast guys, and the more 2-day races I can get, the better off it is. But it's like us going back there. It's like, oh my God, gas is expensive. They could come out here cheap, but they couldn't afford to go back home.
Yeah. Let's see. So what do we have next? We have August 26th, Button Willow. Did we cover that
Yeah,
one?
we've already discussed that. And then the last one is October 7th and 8th, again at Thunder Hill on the 3 miles. And that will also be a shared date with the Shelby Club. So, like I said earlier, everybody gets lots of track time over these 2 days. And what makes it nice is you're not being rushed from this race to that race to that race to get on the track. You have about a 2-hour wait between each run time.
Okay.
Time to fix your kart, basically.
Pardon me?
You got plenty of time to fix your kart.
Yes, we do, Holly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna bring us all up. I'm giving Ashley a warning.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So that's our calendar. And then with the breaks in the middle, this gives time for people if they want to travel to other parts of the country, they can do it, and they're not so booked. So this gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It actually ends up being 6 points races for the year. And with 1, 2, 3 with that, and only having 4 weekends tied up for the year, so it makes it a pretty good calendar for us.
Well, that'll be good. And you got it out early, and so everyone can kind of plan around it.
Yeah.
And then I'll let Ashley ask the next question. I gotta go grab something real quick because I gotta address Todd Baker's comments here in the sections here. Hey, Walter, what's up? You need to get your cart out of my garage.
All right, so Walter's here. What's up, Walter? Eric Maxfield says he's late as always. What? Let's see. Corey Simpson. Here we go. I can purchase in Texas. Get it, yeah. Okay, I think that was about your fuel comment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You went to Super Nuts as well. All right. So I do have a question. Ollie, how did you get involved with NCK?
Funny enough, I did Kart Week in 2018, and that's when I really sort of got introduced to NCK because they made a big trip out to Daytona for the Kart Week, and my friend Jimmy Skyers, who moved to the States in 2017, on on my first sort of holiday trip out to see him. We made a trip to Willow Springs, and that's when we first met Mark. When I first met Mark.
Oh, that's right. That was a fun weekend.
Yeah. You were there just driving your 250 around for a bit of fun and having a barbecue. And I wasn't driving at the time, but Jimmy was keen to sort of get involved with the superkarts in the States, and I think meeting Mark kind of like opened his eyes to it all, and obviously he got involved with NCK way before I did. He did, was it 2 seasons he did with you before I started? So
I think so.
But 1 whole season definitely.
Yeah, at least 1.
Yeah, and then I got invited to the Kart Week, and then drove one of Chuck's karts at Daytona. And then I was hooked. I was hooked on the guys. Everybody who went from NCK were really friendly, like a giant family, basically. And the bug bit me again. And then I arranged to drive a 250 of Chuck's for the 2019 season. So that was sort of my first initiation into NCK. It was quite a big season. There was Laguna, Sonoma was on, lot of tracks, and for me, I was actually new to the supercar scene as well. So I'd only driven one once before at Donington in 2015, So that was my first sort of taste of a supercar. But just the 2019 for me was where it was at, and just the amazed at how the weather was perfect at every race. There's none of the rain, trying to change your chassis, struggle in the cold like you do in the UK. The grids in the UK are big. We've got big grids here. But for me, it was just, bucket list circuits I've never driven on. Turning up somewhere new every race meeting was like, wow, this is amazing. For me, I was fully committed at that point. And I did pretty well in my first season. I was third in the Super Ice category in my first season. So I was very chuffed with that. And I was very determined to sort of win it the following year. I actually, the first year I rented my car off of Chuck, and then I bought it at the end of 2019 with the idea of more, bringing up the aero, updating the aero on it, trying to make it more my car, set it up better for me. And then obviously we did the first three, I think it was 2 or 3 rounds. We did Sonoma was round 1 in the November originally. And then we had, I think it was March 2020 was Thunderhill 3 Mile. And I did well at both of those. And then obviously COVID happened. And then COVID kind of put a dampener on everything. It was a big shame at the time, because we in the UK was locked out of the US, so I couldn't fly in. So sadly, my flight that was booked for Speed Vegas that year was cancelled. I think Speed Vegas was cancelled and then rescheduled for later in the year over there. And but I still couldn't make the trip, and I couldn't actually get back into the US until November. Was it November the year? Not this year, last year. So it would have been 2021. They didn't actually open the gate to the UK until sort of November 2021. So I kind of missed two full seasons, which was a bit of a dampener. But that's during that time, I was like, I got into sim racing a little bit. I did a little bit of short circuit here in the UK, got back into sort of getting seat time. I think that was important for me. And then this year, it's been great. I love coming over to see the NCK family. I've got to know a lot of the competitors, all lovely people, make you feel so welcome. And I just get that excitement of coming over to the States to race every time. It's just the traveling to the circuits, the feel, the way everybody helps each other out. The competitiveness is there, but it's in a very much more friendly way than it's a different style, and I really do enjoy it. I do enjoy seeing everybody there.
So why don't you, for us sprint guys, quickly explain what a super ICE is, or ICE?
Okay, a super ICE car, it's a 5-speed gearbox car, capable of running up to sort of 140 mile an hour. Comparing it to short circuit karting, I'd say it's more adult karting, if you sort of mean. It's like the short circuit karting, not taking anything away from it, is it's fast and very hit. So you're literally chucking a car at a corner literally every millisecond. There's no resting point on a short circuit. On long circuit, it's a lot more flowing. It's a lot more time to think. Everything comes at you at the same pace. So most people who've never experienced long circuit, and in the US, you guys call it road racing. Here in the UK, we call it long circuit karting. It's had a stigma, long circuit, because people just think you must be mad. But to be honest with you, it really isn't. And unless you do it and experience it, you won't understand it. It's similar to short circuit in the sense that you're using maximum space around the track. So in your head, oh, you must have tons of room because you've got this little kart on a very wide circuit. But by the time you've used all the space at the speeds you're traveling, it's not really much different. You turn a giant circuit into a kart track, basically, is what you do. But it really is an exhilarating experience that everyone should try, and don't judge it until you've done it. For me, I wish I'd done it years ago. I was into short circuit. I was a ARCS instructor at my local track, and I actually run my local track for about 3 years in the 90s. And all big events, corporate events. We had a big fleet of karts. You know, you would see people come along, do a corporate event, suddenly amazed how much they enjoy it, and then they will spend the money, buy their own kart, and then take it to that next level and start joining some bigger grids, finding more competitive people. I mean, I think you know, some people just get that bug, you know. And then it takes them on to another levels where they will suddenly go into cars or move across into long circuit. And long circuit karting is a very much overlooked by so many people for superkarts. I do think that, you know, these youngsters who aim for IndyCar or Formula One, they're so busy looking at the feeder categories. So they would go through short circuit racing and then make it into, say, Formula Ford in the UK it used to be, or Formula Renault. Then you got Formula 2 and Formula 3. Then you got up into F1. And I think these guys are so focused on trying to make that, they forget about the fun factor and the enjoyment factor of why they do it in the first place. And I think sometimes people, you know, when they can't get the finances to take it to that next level or get a sponsorship deal, they start turning their back on the sport in some strange way, or feel a little bit lost in where to go next. And I think superkarts fill that gap, and I think people should give it a try, because like I said, I kind of regret that I didn't try it years ago. I love superkarting now. It's like I couldn't imagine life without it, to be honest with you. It's you know, it's a single seat race car that's been miniaturized, and that's how you should look at it. It's not like normal karting. It's just that it's karting on steroids, basically.
It's not a go-kart from Karts and Golf.
Sorry, say that again.
It's not a go-kart from Karts and Golf.
Yeah.
So let's see. We had Gear Nuts ask a question. Mark, you can address this one. Do they run superkarts at Laguna Seca anymore?
And the answer to that is probably going to be not in the foreseeable future. Laguna has, for us as a club, the restrictions and the fees are just outrageous. The last 2-day Laguna race that we did cost NCK $56,000 for 2 days.
I think the biggest problem is these guys with their Ferraris get a little bit embarrassed that the supercars are faster than them, so they don't.
Well, that too. But it's
for years the superkarts had the overall track record.
Yeah.
Being it's a county park, the park adds restrictions for, the best way to describe it is the weekday renters, which is us, just the average small club that rents it. They only allow us to put 35 vehicles on a track at any one time.
They're quite low noise regulation as well, isn't it?
And then the noise regulations at 92 dB. And then if I want to add from 35 to 40 carts, it's an extra $5,000. Then if I want to have 2 days, it's $5,000 a day premium on top of the rental fees twice. So that's another 10 grand. And then it's
really, really expensive.
It's very expensive. So for me to do 2 days at Laguna, I would need 150 drivers to show up with an entry fee of somewhere around $700 a piece. And it's just, well, yeah, you'll do it, and another 20 people will do it, but I can't draw enough interest to do it. And in
Yeah, that's
Sonoma,
always been one of those races where everyone begs to go to Laguna. And then when you do
and,
them 2 or 3 years in a row, the second and third year taper off quite
well, and
drastically.
that's what happened. The first year we had 145 entries, and it dropped down to 122, and then it dropped down to 100. So it's the
Well, it's
the bucket list drivers already did it. Sonoma's priced us out of the ballpark too now. So Sonoma, for just one day at Sonoma now, is about $26,000.
Have they resurfaced?
And they're doing certain parts of it, but not
Right.
all of it. They're putting in a new bridge and or reworking a little bit here and there. But Laguna is just, even if we went down there and shared with a car group, it's 35 vehicles.
Yeah.
So I can't do and they're going to charge me, a group. If I went in with a group, they're going to charge me half the bill, so, and they're probably going to give me 3 outings, and I'm still going to have to charge $500 or $600 just to make up the difference, because I'm only going to be allowed 35 or 40 people show up, or however we can split it.
Yeah.
So Laguna is just not going to happen. I get people calling me all the time, I got 20 guys. Well, I just can't do it.
Okay. All right. We'll move on from Laguna.
Yep.
Let's see. Walden Racing. He's one of our regulars on the show. Will there be carts to rent in any of the races this year? So if you reach out to either myself, Norcal Karters, or my buddy Rob at Aluminos, he has.
I think it's a great thing. I think that option for renting is really a way forward for a lot of people.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing so, Mike Walden does a lot of sprint racing, and he does the Briggs stuff. So there's a big. Mark and I talked about this a few years ago. There's a big barrier from sprint racing to road racing when you're a sprint guy and you don't know how to get into road racing.
Yeah.
I'm a shifter guy, so it wasn't that hard to change the gear, make sure I didn't burn my tires off in the first session. But yeah, Rob makes it really nice to do the arrive and drive and try road racing out for the first time. And I will say from personal experience, the NCK guys kind of go above and beyond to make sure the new guy is like comfortable and having a good time. I don't want to, it is definitely a club atmosphere, but it's more of gentleman club atmosphere where everyone's kind of looking out for each other and say, hey, we're all here to have fun. We all have to go work on Monday.
The amount of people who've helped me with my engines when it's gone wrong is just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You walk around, have a piston, have this, have that. We'll help you fix this. It's lovely. It's great. It's what it's about.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen at the local sprint club stuff, but is definitely more of I would say a bond with the road race guys. I mean, here Ollie is flying in from England.
Yeah.
Jason, and you've been around the industry long enough. When somebody says, "Oh my God, I'm not road racing," it's because of this. What is this that you always hear?
It's kind of a combination. In general, it's usually the speed.
Yeah.
And for me, that was my biggest apprehension was the speed. Because you're going to go over 100 miles an hour in a 125.
Yeah, a 125, on a good day, a 125 will see a top speed of about 115 to 120.
Yeah,
I think anyone from short circuit who's capable and knows how to drive a kart, it shouldn't be an issue for them, to be honest.
Yeah, and what I found for me is what was nice about NCK. They let me get up to speed at my own pace. They had I think 2 hours of practice. And then you do the heat races. I started 3 of my 4 heat races in the back, and I go, nope, I'm starting in the back. I'm going to figure out how to start because they do rolling starts with all the classes, and I just slowly got up to speed, and it was kind of actually fun that way.
I mean, if you're a capable driver, you should be able to use that throttle gas pedal to the position and as much as if you don't feel comfortable, just take your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You know?
And once you kind of get over the helmet buffering, and for me, the front brake rotors, hearing those spin in the wind, and it was quiet. Once I got over those three things, it's like this sense of speed until you got right next to the wall. It was you kind of driving a slow kart on a sprint track. It's like, oh, this is a lot of fun.
And I think too, the speed is not necessarily the straightaway speed. I think it's like turn one at Thunder Hill. In a 125, that's in your head you want to lift, but in a 125, that's pretty much a wide open turn.
Oh, which
and it's just
turn one.
It's one of them.
Thunder Hill
turn one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use a little bit of the pit lane on the right to get you nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That in a 125 is a you might want to. A lot of guys will blip the kart to let the kart relax a little bit and then get back in it, but it's actually it's a fairly large sweeper, but it's an uphill incline, so you don't realize how much speed it actually scrubs off. I got and a good 250 driver will go through it wide open too, but he's got some big things in his pants.
Because you're talking about his wallet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I even kept myself, lifting and then back in it to let the kart relax to go through.
I've normally melted my piston by that point.
Yep.
That's not a good way to enter any turn.
But road racing versus sprint racing. Road racing is, like you said, it's a gentleman's sport because we don't tolerate beating and banging because everybody does have to go to work. And
there's a respect point, isn't there? Because you're doing these, that everybody's got, it's how car racing is. It's a non-contact sport.
So like if you were at Jason, if you were like at Prairie City in a 125 going down the straightaway, that's your longest top speed is that point right there, and everything else is all turns. So and the road racing, you're at speed most of the time.
Yeah. And that's probably why I really enjoy Thunder Hill West.
I love Thunder Hill West. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, I love the top speed. I love the
braking zone,
lateral forces, and I love you actually have to use the brakes.
Yeah.
So I've been on Thunder Hill West, but it wasn't a car.
Isn't a car?
Did Jim take you out in his Mustang?
No, it was Matt Katanek was like, I've never been here and I need somebody to film a lap for me. And I was like, okay. So he drove and I basically just filmed the lap. I didn't know you could do video. Huh?
I didn't know you could do video. I'm going to have Jason put you on the video crew.
Well, but yeah. So it was in a car, but I do enjoy Thunder Hill West. Yes.
Yeah, it's
and my friend Turbo works there. So.
Yes. Yeah, but for us, our older road racers and in the old days, a road course was 2 miles or longer.
To be fair,
that was a long track. Was 2 miles or more. Anything under 2 miles was considered a sprint track. So 75% of my racers think it's a sprint track. The other 25% love it. So, so I have to cater to the more people that
I think it's a physical circuit.
It is. It's very physical. It's a young man's,
and some of
it's a young man's track.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny because my understanding between the United States and the UK, if you go racing in the UK, you'll be in the paddock, and then people will say, "What are your lap times? What are your lap times?" And you'll be like, "Oh, my lap time's this." In the United States, you'll be in the paddock and everyone will go, "What's your top speed? What's your top speed?" And you're like, "What? Like, does that matter?" Yeah. And everyone loves top speed. It's amazing. It's so funny. It's like, I must be 3 mile an hour faster than you down the back straight. Yeah, but you're 4 seconds a lap slower than me. What? It's really funny.
What's your top speed?
Yeah. I think when it comes to long circuit, everybody wants to know how fast you're going.
I mean, there's definitely that attraction to it.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's like something I'm not like coming from short circuit into long circuit, and then people are going, "How fast are you going?" I'm not looking at my speedo. I'm more worried about whether I'm going to stop in time for a corner.
It was like when we run Daytona, and the first time we went around the track, and then basically you popped onto the super speedway in turn one, and we're doing 130 some miles an hour. I was on the super speedway for, what was it, a minute 22 seconds, something like that, Ollie, that you were wide open, and I'm going, oh my God, this thing's zinging at 11, 12,000 RPMs, and I'm waiting for a piston to take my ear off.
It's funny, Daytona's very deceiving though, because it's so wide and big. The video footage makes it look really fast, but when you're doing it, you're thinking, can I go any faster? Can I go any faster? So you come in and start looking at drive sprockets and stuff, and you're like trying to find that extra 2 or 3 mile an hour at the top end. And it's like, when you're out there, it's crazy. It's
because it was what, 2 minute 30 laps, I think it was, something like that.
And 2/3 of it is just flat open throttle. It's like, I think it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, in a minute 20 of, oh my God, it's going to go bang. Let's see. So this video's Thunderhill West.
Yeah. That's Thunderhill West.
Yeah, it's Thunderhill West.
Yeah. And it is a fun track. It's actually funner to run it in reverse of what we normally run it.
There's a nice bit of concrete coming out.
It actually flows way nicer.
It's a funny one. I do like Thunderhill West. It is. You did the 5 mile a couple of years ago, but I missed that one. I think I was
right.
I was away for some reason that weekend, but it was the 5 mile where they joined the 2 tracks together.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to gear for the 5 miles because you've got 1.5 miles of this.
Yeah,
and then you go over to the long straightaways, and you have to sacrifice. Speed. I would sacrifice this track to be on the long track.
Yeah,
as far as gearing goes and stuff. But once you learn how the rhythm of this track, it is a blast to drive.
Yeah.
But
I'm watching this video and I'm regretting selling my cart.
Yeah. But this track costs within $1,000 of renting the big track. But I get more people to show up to the big track than I do this track.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable because it's the clientele that you have.
Right.
This track it's pretty damn physical.
Yeah. And of course the management at Thunderhill says, "Oh, we built this track just for you karters." Well, then, give us the karting community price then. But it's in road racing today, it's the motorcycle clubs that all you do is tracking or track time, in the 4 different groups. And there's companies out there now that will buy 25 days. And the same with the cars, and they're getting the big discounts and they're getting the privileged days. And because the track doesn't care who rents it, but it's all the afterthoughts that are bought. How much fuel do they buy? How much do they spend at the concessions? When we show up with 40 or 50 carts, and we only buy 10 gallons of fuel, it's like, oh, that's nothing. We get 300 cars and they buy 3,000 gallons of fuel.
The thing is, the step. I personally I still think that a step up from track days is racing, and the first option of racing is kart racing, because going car racing, it will cost you an arm and a leg. Kart racing, you can do it at a fraction of the cost, but let's face it, you're racing. You are racing somebody else, whereas on a track day, you're just driving your road car around. I mean, there's a certain amount of enjoyment from that. I get that, but it's not racing. And I do think that these people who do track days, who want to step up to the next level, they should really consider karting and road racing with NCK, because it gives them that. It opens them up to being competitive, and that's one thing that track days aren't. It's all nice taking your expensive road car on a circuit, which is great. It's a buzz, I get it, but it's not. It doesn't. By the time the buzz is gone, what is there? What are you getting out of it? It's kind of like, show that you've got the ability to drive and win a race, and take it to the next level. And that's why clubs like Norcal and NCK exist in the first place, is for those people to find that and to enjoy that and go and meet people like-minded and be in it together. It's a special feeling. And that's where people like Aluminos are great, because if you haven't got the kit and you're not sure, you've got the ability to use the equipment and discover it, and then work out whether it's for you or not. And then
you have the coaching capability and all that, and then
someone to talk to about it, someone to give you an understanding of what you're doing right or wrong. What the right equipment is to have. That's where these people like Aluminos is so important in that sense, because it will bring new blood into the sport, and it's that door, it's that opening door to the sport. I mean, even for myself, my year was plagued with mechanical failure with my own supercar, and I sat down at the end of the year and was like, well, what can I do next year? Do I want to try and fix what I've got, or one of my big options was to come and race with Aluminos, because I did a tag race. It wasn't a successful tag race at the end with the Shelby Club at Thunderhill, because the engine went bang on the like 2 laps into the race. I had a big problem with it. It's a long story, but there was tape all over the radiator and I didn't notice it overheated. So that was my own fault. But I drove a tag for the first time, and I was surprised how enjoyable and how different it is to drive to the supercar, because obviously you've got no gearbox, but you're still carrying lots of speed. You may be 4 seconds a lap slower, but it's nothing in when you're actually in those karts, the sense of it is unbelievable. And for me, I couldn't get enough of it. And you got your 125 gearbox, you got your tag class, you got your 250. And I'm one of those sort of people who just wants to drive everything. If I had it my way, I'd book into Aluminos and book a kart for every single race and try and drive every single race. I mean, you couldn't do that as an owner driver, because you'd be trying to prep each one in between and you'd run out of time. But it's
Rob would like that too.
Yeah, I'd drive everything. If I could drive every single race at a race meeting, I would.
Because Rob usually has 1 or 2 guys from Colorado. I can't remember their names, but they show up at most of the races. They've showed up to all the Thunderhill races. So he's got guys that race all the time that rent his cars from Colorado. And before COVID, he had 4 drivers that campaigned his that were arriving drives that ran the 2 seasons with us.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Rob's really great to work with. The only thing I encourage is call him way ahead of time, because sometimes there's conflicts with other dates. But Rob's really great to work for, or to work with on the drive and drives. And so
I
we've
definitely think it is a massive plus to have Aluminos there.
Sure.
And they're so important to the sport. I just like to put a thing out to them saying, well done, keep up the good work, because I don't know if we give them enough pats on the back, if you see what I mean.
All right. Well, we are coming up on our time. We have a funny story coming up, so Jason's gonna end up on a funny story.
Uh-oh.
Mark and Ollie,
I'll
thank
leave my
you for
pants on.
joining. Thank you for
It's great.
joining
Thank you.
us. When Jason's done with his story, then we'll do shout outs, and we'll have Jason bring up the schedule again. All right, Jason, go ahead.
All right, so this one's for Todd Baker, because I said earlier in the show I don't make mistakes, and he said he saw my turkey from yesterday. And he want to know if that was a dead dinosaur. Yeah. So someone said I should have smoked it. I smoked it. I mean, I calibrated
it.
What's that? Yeah, it's dead. I calibrated the thermometers today, and they were actually both where they were supposed to be. And yeah, so I don't know where it went wrong. I tried a new cooker, and that thing was
you
left it off 30 minutes early. That thing was fried.
You left it in too long because it was still cooking.
Oh no! Well, obviously I left it in too long. I mean, it's but I all the time for some reason.
Was there any chicken on it?
What's that?
Was there any chicken on it?
Well,
was it all bone?
There's some jerky, and the skin was really good. Thank you, Todd. I love my racing
Todd.
fans.
We can't go one show without Jason having a food-related conversation.
That's right. Yes, that checks that box.
All right. Well, Ollie, we'll start with you. Go ahead and give your shout outs, where you're going to be racing this year, and
I'm gonna try and race everywhere as possible, as much as possible. But shout out to Jimmy Skies. He's currently in Germany measuring a crankshaft, but that's another story. And my wife and my kids, who are currently asleep upstairs because it is 4:30 in the morning. So yeah, a shout out to my kids and family. That's Vicky, Lily, and Poppy, and my dog as well, Luna.
Very cool. Right. Well, it was nice to get to know you, Ollie. Thanks for sharing some time with us.
Enjoyable. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
All right, Mark, we got your schedule up. Any final thoughts?
I'd just like to wish everybody a great Christmas and New Year's that's coming up. Everybody be safe. And I hope to see everybody at the first race. Bring a new friend out. Bring out and meet the drivers. Everybody you talk to, or everybody's willing to help out a new person, and things like that. It doesn't cost anything to get in the tracks unless you're at the Southern California tracks, and they charge an entrance to get in. But come visit us. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy
holidays.
You, Mark.
All right, guys. So all right. Once again, that was Mark Morrison from NCK. There is a correction on the April 30th, or the April Chuck Waller race. It is going to be on April 30th. And yes, I would like to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Merry Christmas. Merry everything. Happy New Year. We look forward to 2023, and we'll see everyone in Sonoma, and hopefully we'll hear of some of our new NorCal friends going to NCK too as well. Don't forget to tag us at Norcal Karters for shout outs on the show. If you would like to be on the show or would like to book for 2023 season, let us know. We are booking. And again, we only have 20 show slots available. And we still want to do the same kind of themes and stuff we did this year as well. So, all right. Well, that's all for me. Peace, NorCal.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Again, that was NCK Road Racing, brought to you by Aluminos. And just to recap real quickly, Aluminos does have Arrive and Drive programs for 2023 at the NCK Road Racing events. And we will get the schedule corrected, and that'll be live. And once again, if you want to be on Norcal Karters on the calendars, reach out to us. Clubs, get us your schedules as soon as you can. Preferably correct schedules, especially if you're not paying for the enhanced listings, then it's kind of a pain to go back in and make major corrections. But we have Rock Sonoma, their schedule is out. Challenge of Americas, their schedule is out. NCK, their schedule is out. So everybody get your schedules in, and just remember, if we all get one person in karting, we'll double by next year.